What's going on, 90s community? I'm Eric. I'm going to be hosting this podcast, Critical Carnage Wild Hunt. We're going to start off by just running through the list. We're going to do some analyzing, and with me is Andrew and Bart. So, Andrew, you could introduce yourself a little.
Hi. Hello, Ninth Age community, and hello, YouTube. My name's Charles Oh, wait, I'm not Charles Sadler. I'm one of the ghost members of Evershade Gaming. So, on the forums, I know as trains get robbed. Currently, I am assistant head of playtesting, or one of them. I was a former King of Mequitaine Army Book Committee member, so I don't know all the books by heart anymore due to about a year break. But I'm playing this summer. I've been trying to get back into the flow of things, so hopefully my knowledge base here will help us analyze these lists.
Okay, and Bart, introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Bart. I'm from the Netherlands. I have recently started a YouTube channel called Eakia Soul Reaver. You can find it on YouTube, and I would be delighted if you also get to look at some of these videos. And Eric, he asked me to join in this review, and I gladly accepted.
Okay. Yeah. So the funny, me and Bart, before we started the podcast, were talking about just the difference in metas that he noticed right away, that how things over here seem more blocky, and how in Europe everything seems more MSU.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, but what was that? I actually wrote down a few notes, but I'm not even gonna follow that. Yeah, there's no point. All right, guys, so we're just going to jump in right away. So once again, it's for Critical Carnage Wild Hunt. And we'll take turns analyzing. So I don't know what list you guys know, but we'll just take turns, read them off, and we'll see what we think.
All right.
Okay, so I'll start off. So first list is Jeremy Taylor. He's playing Orcs and Goblins. He's running an Orc Chief. Actually, you know what, guys? How about we just maybe don't read off the whole? I think that'll take too much time just reading everything. So I'm just gonna go just start with the heroes. He's got an Orc Chief, BSB, and an Orc Shaman, a master on on Shamanism, Skull Fetish, and Talisman of Shielding. Which I think Skull Fetish is a great item. I think especially for Orcs, and they get into combat pretty quick. So. I face my buddy Slava all the time, and it's pretty good. I like it a lot. He's running for core. He's running Orc Egg Bashers, 30 Feral Orc, paired weapon, Standard Bearer, Green Tide, pretty standard. Nothing too crazy there. He's running 24 Orc with bows, which is kind of you don't see that a lot. 24 Orcs with bows.
He doesn't have a musician in that unit. That's kind of random.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, I noticed that most people instead run goblins instead of orcs. It's just cheaper, right? And you still get your 24 bows.
Yeah, but I think you mostly use the bows at the point where you just have to do 2 wounds to fast calf or anything like that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the price difference, right? It's a 400 unit, right? And
yeah, true. Yeah.
And special, he's got 25 Nashers, cheap, good.
Yeah.
He's running 23 Iron Orcs, Champion, Standard Musician, Green Tide. That's hard to shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
not going anywhere. Orc Board Chariot, Gargantula, and some big monsters, 2 skewers. Honestly, when I look at this list, and he's running 2, he's probably gonna run 2 blocks down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
His big monsters just kind of either be flanking or just running around doing their own thing.
And then your Great Green Idol just gives rerolls of 1s to wound, right? Or what does it do again? Because I would expect it to be the BSB in this list, but well, obviously you chose Orc Chief for that.
Yeah, because I think it's 100 points. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little cheaper to go with the hero. But overall, I like the list. I think he's lacking chaff.
Yeah.
There's nothing here to read. There's no redirectors here, right? Which
if
if you're an like if you're, I find at least the more I play, every game I play, I always find I'm like, man, I could have used more chaff.
Yeah. Like what is very popular for orcs and goblins in the Netherlands nowadays is to just have some goblin chiefs on spiders. Because they're like 100 points, they still have a couple of wounds, and you can just, after deployment, pop them anywhere you want. You have very mobile chaff, it's very cheap. But it does come out of your hero selection, so a lot of lists don't feature them because their hero selections are already full, but in this case, you would have plenty of space to fit some in. Which, in my mind, would make the list quite a bit stronger, but, well.
Yeah, that's the only thing I find it kind of peculiar is not having a orc general as your orc warlord as a general, whether it's a feral orc or I don't know. Even if you, you guess you could put them on. A lot of people have been putting them on the board, like you mentioned. I mean, I don't know how it is in Netherlands, but a lot of people here will throw like a feral orc warlord on like a boar, or they'll put him in like on a chariot or something. Even though chariot's kind of not showed up as much in most recent like all ECC lists, but that's probably the only thing that and then the chaff. Those are probably the two biggest things I feel this list was missing. But I do like the three monsters in the big nasty category, even though the Great Green Idol doesn't have any prowess in combat. It's still nice to see that you got a Gargantua Giant and a Great Green Idol, so you have to deal with three monstrous units. So
yeah, I find anytime you double up or even have three monsters of any kind, it presents huge problems.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's really hard to deal with, surprisingly.
So do you have a rating list, or are you just kind of going? Are you going to be like, this is double thumbs up, this is a spicy list, this is a not spicy list, or?
What do you guys say in Evershade? You guys go attaboy, right?
We say attaboy, tisk tisk, or a combination of both. I mean, it can be like an attatisk if you kind of like it or you kind of don't like it, like it's medium.
Are we not invading some copyright there? Am I not going to get a letter from Evershade? We are suing you for your copyright.
You could go with the peppers. You'd be like, this is like a jalapeno list, or this is like a green bell pepper or something. I don't know. You could just be creative with it.
Okay. Let's. For me, Andrew, you can start with that. I'm following.
Oh, okay. I guess this wouldn't be what's I guess is like jalapeno maybe is like 4 peppers
let's go
5.
level of spiciness. How about
level
that?
Level spiciness. Okay.
How spicy is this list for you?
This list is like a medium, like you order a medium in like a Thai restaurant, and then it comes out like hot, more hotter than you expect, like medium hot. So like, I'm not.
Yeah, and I mean, just like I said, I think the biggest thing right away sticks out is the no chaff, right? That's the biggest weakness by far. And I'm surprised his Orc Shaman isn't a feral orc, just to get the 5-up word save if he's going to be in a unit.
Yeah.
Well,
you can't try to chariot then.
Yeah, so that's even worse.
Yeah.
You can't really hide, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the only change I would do. But I mean, besides that, you got the 2 bricks, you got the monsters, so you got to deal with it, right?
Yeah. I have seen scarier orc and goblin lists, I think. But yeah, it's still going to be difficult to handle the 4 big blocks unless you manage to get them on a favorable position.
Sorry, Bart. I'm just going to throw in that you have the interesting advantage of you can rip all these lists and nobody can say anything to you because you don't know anybody here. You're not going to play them, so you can go as hard as you want.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's still a decent list, but I would certainly make some changes to it. Yeah, it's also due to player preference. Like if you like just shoving blocks in the opponent's face, then this is still a very neat list. Yeah.
All right, Bart. How spicy is it?
I would say average spicy with maybe a bit of a hotter kick in there.
All right, I'll go say it's medium. All right, next list. If one of you guys want to just read it off quickly.
Will Macheski from. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. It's not my intent here.
You know what? Let's just go first names. How about that?
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Will M, as in Mike. Will M. All right. His list features a Oracle. It's a Wizard Master. Has Wandering Familiar, Cult Yema, Divination. His other character is a Cult Priest on a Divine Altar with paired weapons, Alchemist Alloy, Shield, Morix Reaping, obviously a BSB, and Cult Yema. So what is it called? Priest Movement 9 then, because the what is it? The actual
Well, I think Bart, you play Dark Elves, right?
I play Dread Elves, yeah.
The Dread Elves.
then
So
you're the one that should be doing the review then here.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so I'm just
Well,
gonna fill out the rest of the list, and then you can just comment on it.
Yeah.
So then next, remaining in the list, he has 15 Legionnaires, a musician. They have spears, also cult Yema. I mean, everything has cult Yema because it's a cult Yema list. 25 Legionnaires, Muso, flag, spears, Academy banner. 2 units of 10 Corsairs, Muso, handbows, paired weapons. I'm guessing for scoring. 25 Dancers of Yema, full command, and they have the banner of Gardekos. 2 units of Raptor Chariots, 5 Harpies, triple bolt thrower, and a Hydra.
Yeah, I think this is about the setup that I would use if I were to use a kind of balanced Dread Elf list. But I find, well, in my opinion, Dread Elves are not that strong in this iteration. And stuff like Bolt Throws is, for example, very expensive for what it does. You just get 6 shots for 180 points. At strength 4, it doesn't really do a lot.
They can shoot one shot though with strength 6, can they not?
Yeah, but well, if you do the math, actually the 6 shots is 99% of the time better, unless you feel you face very heavy armored opponents.
Correct. Yeah, like I don't know if it's 99%, but it's more often than not. It's generally better.
Like 80%.
I think a lot of people take like the triple bolt thrower still, and both variations of elves to threaten like large single monsters or keep especially like the ETC metas or more like ESC overseas to keep people honest with their single cowboy characters, like the old Scar veteran lords that'd be on the cold ones, which isn't really which isn't prevalent here anymore, but more so like even what's that the Vampire Courtier one keeps taking now in vampires and some of the ETC lists, or even like a Plague Pendulum. I mean, you can single out a Plague Pendulum from like within 24 inches, and a lot of times you can't get any cover with that unit because
even shoot down Dreadmills.
That too.
If you're facing a VS list, you're facing 2 Dreadmills. So
but even in this list, the Dreadmills don't have a lot of targets other than the Hydra and the Chariots, I think, and the Altar, obviously.
Elves love Dreadmills. When I use Elves and I face Dreadmills, I'm pretty happy. I don't really mind.
Dread Elves. I mean, Dreadmills aren't terrible because their max range their max shooting range is effective is 23 inches, right? So you can still sit outside 24 inches.
18 inches, right?
Yeah, well, no, I disagree there. I think Dreadmills are pretty terrible in general. I think, in my opinion, Dreadmills are the most overpowered unit in the game. I just think what it does. 5 points is ridiculous. It's just.
Yeah. So we're getting sidetracked from his list. So Will's list, though, it's very saturated. I mean, I like it. There's a lot of redundancy. The only thing I would like to see is kind of like he ventures into maybe like the Switzerland's list this year at ETC, or even what's the other one? I think it's is it Germany's? I think it's Germany's. Looking at it, no, it's not. But Switzerland's list featured their Oracle on he didn't. One of them featured him on a dragon, or 2 of them featured him on a dragon. It might have been Mexico's or Belgium's. But I would like to see either on a dragon or a Dread Prince, maybe on like one of the vanguarding horses, something that gives you a good projection of threat range and that you can kind of control board space with. That's pretty quick, whether you have Vanguard or the Corsairs, or whether you have a dragon to counter your mage on the dragon to countercharge something. I mean, it's not necessarily the best per se, because some of the ETC lists did pretty well without those, but some of them kind of required to have, for example, I think Smith F had a Dread Prince on. Yeah, reading here, so he had Dread Prince on Pegasus. He's a fleet commander, Transcendence, Midnight Cloak, and all the tools. So that can really kind of put like this type of list over the top. And I mean, I don't know what you'd lose to add that in. I mean, maybe that might be the Hydra. I kind of feel Hydras are overpriced. I like Krakens just as much as Hydras, but I mean, I guess that's apples and oranges.
Yeah, but Bart will disagree with you there. I've seen his. Yeah. He actually said the complete 180.
Yeah, but I do agree that the army that's like it's constructed now just basically has a linear thread across the table. Like you just have infantry and you just have stuff that goes just in one direction, and you can't really thread from the flanks or go in any other direction than just straight forward.
What do you guys think about the Dancers of Yema? I've actually never played against them.
Oh, I love that unit. Chuck back in the day used to have Dancers of Yema back. This is like 1.3, mind you. This is like a couple years back. Unfortunately, my knowledge is kind of showing here sometimes. But he ran that unit for a while, and he's like, well, why don't we throw the occult priest in there? They get a 6+ ward save. So like outside of combat, you can make that unit have like a 6+ ward save. You could even give, if you wanted to give the cult priest theoretically, you could give them like the Obsidian Rock or something, made the unit really hard to cast against. And you just kind of have like a pseudo Death Star. But in this variation,
won't save anymore. But
yeah, this variation he doesn't. I mean, they're still very tough. I mean, it's still kind of tough to get rid of. I mean, it's still 25 bodies if you put the priest in there.
What do you guys think about? I'm a little confused with the divination, and just saying because he seems to have a lot of things shooting, and the bolters. Like in my opinion, this list kind of light. It's kind of lacking identity.
Yeah.
Because is it going forward? Is it staying back? It's kind of like in between.
I feel it doesn't have enough ranged output to really just choose to sit back and enjoy that. But what helps with divination is the Wandering Familiar to get a little bit extra range on the spells. But I also would rather just see an Oracle on a Dragon with occultism and instead of divination, because
Yeah, you pay for a call. You pay for what Yema, right? You might as well get the use out of the spell lore that opens up in Yema.
Yeah,
and he has so many infantry blocks that you could benefit a lot from occultism. So,
yeah. Should we go to the next?
Yeah. So overall, I mean, this for me is like 3.5 or 4 out of 5. I mean, it's like a 3.5. It's like almost there at that 4 out of 5. It's something like I wouldn't feel bad taking to a tournament. I like it's a solid list. I feel like it's just missing like one piece to kind of put it over the top.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys that I played against Will. Will's a good player, so I'm sure he's gonna do really well. So
he'll probably push my crap in and beat me 20-0.
Your list kind of not that good. It's kind of shitty, man. I need like 20-0s. Yeah. All right. We're just gonna avoid the spicy because that's gonna take too long. Sorry.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, Shane. Whoever knows Infernal doors, I'm not too familiar with them, so.
I only encountered them like twice or so. So the only thing I can spot is whether the BSB has the icon of the Inferno, which it doesn't have. So I'm a bit confused with the list.
Yeah, he has the Kadim bindings and Aether icon instead with Obsidian Rock. So what is that? It's gonna be a -3 to cast at whatever unit he goes in. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, that is really kind of confusing, Bill. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I don't really know how to judge this list because, well, basically he just puts a lot of bodies on the table. That's what I can see.
A lot of shooting. Let me see if I can back.
So actually, he does have Icon Inferno. So going through his list, he has a Prophet Wizard. It's a general with alchemy. The character's got either a 1-up or a 2-up because he has Death Cheater, and then their armor gives him a 4-up. Shield gives him a 2-up, right? His Infernal Weapon. So the Prophet Wizard's just there to be there. And has alchemy. The Vizier has it's a BSB, has again Kadim's binding, Aether icon. So they're both gonna go together in the same unit, and probably inside there's a unit later on. There's a 15-man unit of Immortals. With Icon Inferno, so they could probably go inside there, or they could bunker in one of the units of Citadel Guard. Continuing on, he has 2 units of 10 Citadel Guard.
This unit of Immortals also has 12 extra models, right?
Yeah, it's 27.
Oh, 27.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a big block.
Holy shit. Oh, wow, the unit of Immortal actually has the icon of the Inferno. Okay, then I get it again.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Yeah. Okay.
He has 2 units of 20 Orc Slaves for scoring or chaffing. He has a unit of 20 Hobgoblins again for scoring with bows. No, they're not. I think there's for chaff. Sorry. What else? He has 2 Titan Mortars, a gunnery team that's a flamethrower, a Hobgoblin bolt thrower, and then a unit of Hobgoblin Wolf Riders and 3 Incarnates. So, I mean, we kind of just like jumbled to the list, but overall, only thing doesn't really make much sense to me as like a list structure is having 3 Kadims and then the Kadim's bindings. I'm looking it up right now. I don't know what that does. I think it's the one that heals wounds on the Kadims, but generally you would like to see that on or in a list that has multiple units of Kadims, so you can get a bigger effect on that. Yeah, it is. Oh, where's it at?
It's just basically a gun line, right?
It's a gun line, pretty much. It's meant to shoot you off the board, yeah.
No, it's not even that. It's just a shield enchantment. While using the shield, the bearer gains a 5+ Aegis and Volcanic Embrace. So when you're in base contact with the model, it takes extra hits. So I'm guessing, yeah, this is a very a counter charge kind of protect the castle list where you sit back, shoot, and then you hit him with a big block of Death Star Immortals and or.
I think both his heroes are gonna go into the Immortals, right?
Yeah,
I'm guessing it's
definitely
yeah. I mean, you could put them on both. You could go 8 wide, put them on both sides, and then put both 10-man units of Citadel Guard next to each other. I guess. I mean, there's so many different things you could do with that kind of formation, those characters. So.
Yeah. The question is just how many turns are people going to get before they get to his list?
So, yeah, the only thing I kind of wish if he took either like Essence of Free Mind, I know a lot of people aren't doing that anymore. They're just taking straight Pyromancy, but he has just straight Alchemy on his Prophet because he took the what is it? He took the Mask of the Infernal, which is the bear gains a +1 armor and a breath attack. So I mean, if maybe instead of that, I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad item. I mean, it's something to take, but I would have liked to see the item that takes away what is it? The Icon of Inferno is the one that everything with shoots the blaze pyromancy tribute. But I like to see the item that takes away the Veil token every turn. That's like what we can kind of do in Highborn Elves. Same thing. If you could, a Tablet of a Shook, that's what it's called. I feel like if you swap the Mask of Furnace out with the Tablets of a Shook and find some points for that, that'd be kind of neat as well. Overall, I like the list. It'd be like a thumbs up for me. I mean, again, I feel like this is like the third list in a row where I'd make maybe like one change but it's not bad. I can see it maybe struggling some scoring scenarios, like get to your opponent's deployment zone.
Maybe. Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, the block of Immortals is gonna go up the middle. I mean, because that is gonna go up. I think even though you're shooting, you're still gonna go up kind of the middle, right? Or it's gonna contest objectives. But aside from that, yeah, it's they get a steam tank here. I mean, I know he's got the alchemy, but I'm saying like I think Cowboys do well here because once they get into combat, they just keep going from combat to combat, right? It's gonna be really hard to shoot them down.
Well, the Immortals still also pack a punch, but
no, the Immortals are great in combat. I mean, I would try to avoid that unit, right? I mean,
just clean up everything else and maybe go in solo to kill the caster and head out again.
Yeah, I mean it's a good list. I mean it's gonna. I mean I guarantee one of these games someone's gonna get shot off the board.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get probably 120-0 at least.
I mean that's the thing. That's the thing with shooting though. If you commit to shooting, it's either gonna really work out or it's not gonna work out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the list, but yeah, I mean I got nothing to add. I mean it's a good list. It's gonna shoot some people off, and guess we'll find out what happens. All right, next one.
Yep.
Okay, let me. I'll do this one. So Christopher Waller, he's got. I'm not gonna run down. I guess I'll run through the heroes because. So he's got a general and a cadaver wagon, a necromancer staff, a talisman of the void. So he's channeling 3. He's gonna be casting snipe spells. He's gonna be raising. He's got the vampire. Count Lachmia, Commandment, Destiny's Call, Book of Arcane Master. She an adept? Okay, yeah. Distracting, and I was just thinking because I know the book can't be on a master, so. The heroes, I mean, he's got the heroes basically. I mean, it's very killy, but it's pretty much to buff the skeletons. To buff the skeletons, she's gonna sit there and just give him weapon skill 6, defensive 6, or the barrel guard. I know Bart, when we quickly talked about this list, you said this list really scared you.
Yeah, well, it's just 4 blocks that are quite sturdy. Well, the skeletons, they on their own they won't last that long maybe, but this unit of barrel guard is insane. With the offensive, defensive 6.
They're hitting everything on 2s, pretty much.
Yeah, and then with True Thirst also on the vampire count, so you just get back models automatically. So you have to bring a scary unit to get rid of the barrel guard. So yeah, probably I would try to just avoid that unit again, and then try to kill everything else on the list. Because Yeah.
I feel it's kind of the only problem with this list I see is it's going to be really compact because
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, I know the vampire spawn are fast, but they can't. They're glass cannons, right? So they might kill something, and they'll die the next
Yeah,
turn.
they're gonna die. They're gonna die.
So
So
I mean,
you're giving control of the battle to your opponent. That's definitely true.
yeah,
Whether it's a bad thing, yeah.
it's not a bad thing, but I mean, I think for this list, it's going to be very It's going to be very secondary and objective dependent, right?
Yeah.
If he gets hold the center, he's good.
Yep.
But if it starts being the three tokens, three tokens across the middle,
yeah.
or breakthrough even, because I mean, it's slow, right? I mean, it's gonna push, but you can't just push up the middle. You still got to kind of play, right? You still got to watch your flanks, and so that's my only concern with this list. Was the second I look at them, it's kind of slow. So a fast list or an MSU list is just gonna go around it.
Yeah, so I saw also your Sylvanel list later, and if you face this list, then you should be able to get at least a draw out of it. Just because you can just walk in front of the barrel guard and then make him charge something and then flee again and then rinse repeat, basically.
Yeah, it's all movement 4, so yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll talk about my list later, but and I'll talk about my list because I gotta.
You can stick the Necromancer on Cadaver Wagon in any of those units, right? The skeletons. I'm looking in here, and it doesn't say you can't. It just says see Cadaver Wagon for unit entry rules. So I mean, it's a war platform.
I think
so it's gonna go in one of the blocks of skeletons. I mean, to me, I'm not impressed with this list at all. Like, if you can just kind of you can mitigate one of the two snipes from evocation or outright. If you this is speaking from someone that has range elements in their list, right? If you're going up against, I don't know, something that's not quite super fast, maybe I mean, I don't know, even Beastman can be fast. I'm just trying to think of an army that's not going to be right in your face, turn 1 or 2 to fight you and doesn't have range elements. Maybe warrior list without the portal. I mean, this can be kind of tough because you're sitting there grinding against these big blocks, and he doesn't have any really chaff to decide where he wants to fight.
That's another thing, chaff, right?
But for me, if it's not hold the center like you guys just said, or if it's not what's the other one? Not two pennies. Spoils of War. Spoils of War, where you take. Yeah, I'm not those two scenarios I would excel at, but getting to the opponent's deployment zone. I mean, you just don't have enough units. I don't know. For me, this is a 3. This is a 3 out of 5. Not a huge fan of it, but hey, maybe you might prove me wrong.
Well, the way I look at that list mostly, whether I could beat the list just and get a 20-0 out of it.
It's hard.
That is hard, I think.
You think it's not as hard to get a 20?
I think it's hard with another list to get a 20-0 against this list because of the barrel guard. You can put the cord in there, you can put the vampire gun in there, and then you have 2,000 of points that your opponent cannot get, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, even
which is not a win tactic at all for the list itself.
I mean, he might not win big, but I mean, or lose big, but I don't think he's ever gonna just win big. He doesn't have.
No.
Hey, maybe he's aiming for 50 points, and he's like, you know what, screw it, 10-10 each game.
Yeah. Okay, so the next.
John Oakes. John Oakes is next on the list.
Yeah, John Oakes.
He's running Beast Herds this time. This looks a lot like Lenny's list. I don't know if you guys know who Lenny is, but
have you seen his army? His grayscale, his grayscale army.
No, I have not seen it. So I know that in the U.S., Lenny Szymanski, I don't know if I'm saying it right, and a couple other people run a list similar to this, where you run 2 big blocks, 8 Minotaurs. You run a suit. Well, his list features 2 Soothsayer on Masters, but John Oak has he has a Minotaur Warlord with Trickster's Cunning, Crown of Horns, Great Weapon, Blessed Inscription, so kind of a standardish build. Soothsayer with Druidism and Dark Rain and Binding Scroll. A Beast Chieftain for a BSB with Seed of the Dark Forest. 2 Mongrel Herds at 40 apiece. 10 Mongrel Raiders. 2 units at 8 Minotaurs with the full Get Out and a Black Wing Totem. And then 3 units of 5 Gargoyles. This list is spicy. I like this list.
This is solid.
It's a good list. I actually played against John with this list. It's a tough list.
Yeah.
It's especially if he gets first turn and he can just push everything into your face right away.
Yeah.
and he's got the druidism to back him up, right?
Yeah, not only does he have druidism, but he has dark rain, and also he has seed of the dark forest, which is fantastic because you can just you can put the seed like anywhere you want in the midfield, and then you can just push like your soothsayer up in one of the bunkers, like in the Mongol Raiders, and they're going to be at all times -2 to cast because he also has Obsidian Rock, -1 to be shot, or actually -2 to be shot because they have hard target, and then they'll be -1 for soft cover. And then if you have the first turn, you dark rain up, depending if he goes first or second, you're going to be shooting him an additional -2 penalty or additional -1. So this list, like I feel, counters everything greatly. The only thing it doesn't want to run into is something that can outfight Minotaurs and Minotaur Warlords. Just because I guess like 8 Minotaurs can kind of lose, like super chosen blocks and warriors, or maybe that that 32-man, or was it a 30-man? The 35, excuse me. 35-man Fire Guard unit. Yeah, like that vampire list would love to fight this list, right? But that's...
I think
so either.
Barrel Guard.
The Minotaur is going to kill a boatload, but I mean, he's going to strike back. He's going to do the same thing. And even with shields, Minotaurs are still going to be hit on 3s, right? Have halberds.
Yeah, but this list still has the units of the Gargoyles and the Mongol Raiders, so you should be able to get the Minotaurs on the flank of your Grave Guard.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yes, he has 3 units of chaff. Yeah, I mean those 10 Mongol Raiders are just going to house his Soothsayer and his Beast Chieftain. So
I'm just surprised. And it's a little spoiler, but none of the Beast Herd lists, we have 3. None of them featured raiding chariots, which I think for 300 points are fantastic as core. That's kind of surprising to me.
I think the footprint of the units is the biggest downside.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean it's a big footprint. But at the same time, you get 3 tough chariots for 300 points in core, right?
Alex, another one of the Beast Herds players, he's coming up with me to play in the tournament. He used to be the ACS support and Beast Herds for a little while. He's kind of like our in-group like Beast Herd knowledge outside of in Michigan, and he's not a huge fan of chariots per se. He likes them if you can bunker maybe a wizard in there, or if they're racer tusk chariots, but just generic chariots. We'll put them in the list for kind of as a filler maybe, or as chaff, but they can be kind of expensive sometimes.
Okay.
Should we
do the next one?
Yeah, let's go next one.
Okay, so this is Julian Goodroom, I think. So we have General, Soothsayer, Wizard Master, and Shamanism. On a raiding chariot, actually. Then we have a Minotaur Chieftain BSB with Agor's Affliction. Down in core, we have some a mongrel herd, some Mongol Raiders. We have the raiding chariots that we were talking about.
We do actually. Oh wow, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, and then we have some Minotaurs again, some units of Centaurs, which I also think are just good for the price you pay for them. And then we have a collection of monsters. So 1/3 of the points in the list is actually a Gortak, a Beast Giant, and 2 Jabberwogs.
That's a lot of points and monsters.
I actually don't see Jabberwogs getting played a lot, so I'm happy he took them.
Yeah, I don't know what to do even.
You just terror thing off the board, man.
Okay.
You pick the units and you just charge things that you can think and flee.
Okay.
No, but I mean it's a weird Beast Herds list, right? It's I look at it and I kind of don't know what it wants to do. I mean, I know Beast Herds Beast Herds come at you. That's what they do, but I don't know. I don't really know what to think about this list. I guess the Julian knows what he's doing with it. This is a type of list where you got to know what you're doing. You have to play this list and know the kinks of it, right? One thing I will say though is I don't know what you guys think, but I actually think the shields are much better for Minotaurs than paired weapons.
Oh, 100%. I mean, paired weapons are the old edition. They're not the new hotness. New hotness is all about just parry and combat. So everything hits one
Minotaurs, right? It's about the parry. They don't die as quick, and then from small arms fire like bows, they have 5 up, which is much better.
Pyromancy, I got a 5 up now. Sweet. Oh, strength 3 shots, I got a 5 up. Sweet. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, in combat, paired weapons ignore parry. That's true. So you might hit a little bit easier, but you have the reroll to hit anyway. So
yeah, their output is so. If they go first, they're gonna mop up everything, regardless if they got they ignore your parry or not.
Yeah, the shields are frankly they're just like really criminally cheap on Minotaurs. They're like what 1 point I think a model if you go shields. No, they're 6 points. Excuse me, it's 6 points a model, so old money 3. So it's like 6 points a model compared to paired weapons, which is 10. I don't know why you'd ever take paired weapons vice
No.
shields.
Okay.
All right, so I mean, and a quick run through his heroes. I mean, the BSB chieftain with the Anger's Affliction is pretty standard. I mean, T6. I mean, it's a killing Minotaur Lord.
Fine.
Yeah, and the shamanism. I mean, is pretty standard too.
Yeah.
Okay, next list. We got Sam Howard. So we got Vampire Count Lamia, Generals. It's pretty much the same build as the other one, right?
Yeah.
It looks like it's got the exact same things. As far as core, he's got 3 bat swarms, so he's got a bit of chaff. He's got some ghouls. He's got some zombies. You got 2 smaller units of barrel guard, both with halabards. He got the court of Lamia Damned. He's got 2 Varkaloks, and he's got 3 vampire spawns. So it's listed a little, and 2 units of raids. So it's more MSU. It's got a little bit more, got more speed.
Yeah.
This list to me is gross. This is like 5 out of 5. This is all the jalapenos. Like the only thing I dislike is maybe he could have like a second caster in here, or maybe he could put the Court of the Damned on the vampire count itself. But what you kind of lose a little bit of flexibility with it because either you stick the character in the unit, and then the unit, you have a short projection of threat. You only move 4. You're not going to charge that far, and you kind of force shooting to split between the unit and you. Or you can have the Court of Lamia the Damned separate from the character, and then the court can be a war platform for the unit, and the character can be somewhere else. I think you're going to see that Court of the Lamia Damned inside the 15 barrel guard unit.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
I
mean, you could put it in the 35.1. But then you give like the cool thing about this list is like everything has a good threat. Like, 2 Varkaloks, I mean, can fight small units, right? 3 vampire spawn if you just let them go unengaged into something, like you guys mentioned earlier. They can do some wounds or hold something up and die. They'll explode, but they'll do some wounds. 5 race to run around and redirect or drop some hits on somebody. I mean, it's just so many units to handle. I like this list a lot.
I like this too. Yeah. The only thing I would change is to make the ghoul unit of 10 ghouls a little bit bigger, to go to 15 ghouls. But that's just from experience that if you take 10 ghouls, then it's going to evaporate. If you take 15, then you might still have 1 alive at the end of the combat. If something flies in.
Yeah, I've played Sam, and Sam always used to run a vampire count on a zombie dragon, and it was like 1,500 points or something.
Okay.
And it was funny because I mean I played a game and his dragon died. He's like, okay, that's game. Let's just pack it up.
Yeah, well, in this case, if you put the Lamia count on the court and you face double cannons, then it would also be a similar game.
Okay, so I guess we like it. We all like it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So this is my brother, Arthur. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna touch his list. You guys could do it because then I'm gonna get an earful.
Let's see, what does he have? He has Kingdom of Aquitaine. He has a Damsel with Druidism Wizard Abbot. Then he has a Duke who's the Army General with Renown and Tristan's Resolve. I like that combination. Then we have a Paladin Battle Standard Bearer with Piety, which is Piety also gives you rerolls on leadership checks or something, right?
No, Piety is it always gives you a 5-up Aegis.
Oh, it's that one, yeah. Okay, cool. Then we have a Paladin on a Pegasus with Audacity and Divine Judgment. I think that's a good choice. There's a lot of people that play a Duke with on a Pegasus with Divine Judgment, but I think that's a bit of an overkill. Then we have Knights Aspirant, 6 Knights Aspirant. We have 15 Knights of the Realm with the Banner of the Last Charge. Personally, I would say that with the Banner of the Last Charge, you really want to be sure to get the charge, so you want it on Knights Aspirant instead, but maybe that's personal preference. Then we have 23 Knights Forlorn with Sacred Reliquary Quarry, probably. We have some Knights of the Grail, some Knights of the Quest, and some Human Outriders. So once again, just a list that's very light on chaff, basically. But it might not be too bad in this tournament so far.
This list to me seems very It's like that vampire list earlier you just mentioned. It's very compact. There's like not that many units. If you can, the only 2 units you want to stay away from mainly are what the 23 Knights of Forlorn and like the character with the paladin with the audacity and divine judgment. But even audacity. I mean, I wouldn't have taken audacity with that. I'm a huge fan of the might. I mean, you can't with you're playing Kim Equitane, you almost always want to take might. Like might is just so elite, even if it's on a Duke on a Pegasus or a Paladin on a Pegasus, combined with the Divine Judgment, and then sure your model's not super protected, but you can put him in a unit of Pegasus. There's different things you can go. So I don't hate this list. I just feel like he's going to show up to most games. He's not going to have a lot of pieces to handle somebody that like that vampire list earlier with what we just covered that Sam had. I don't see how his list handles that many drops. Like you're going to get maybe half the points in list, and then you're just going to run out of time or run out of turns to have combats in to get meaningful combats out. I just don't. I don't hate the list. I just not.
When I talked to him, I said the first thing I noticed is, and you guys forget. I mean, he's only got a wizard adept with a magical heirloom.
Oh yeah.
So there's not much magic support going on, and
but the big thing is he's got druidism, right? So I mean, every single turn he's gonna cast. You're just gonna spam cast what, Stone Skin and.
No, he can't get Stone Skin. Yeah.
My bad. No, he's an adept. Yeah, you're right. So he can't even take that.
That's what I'm saying. I wish it was a master. If it was a master, I think for the points you get so much more.
Yeah, or you would have to forgo the magic altogether. Just say I'm fine without magic. Balls to the wall.
Yeah, just and once again, missing a little chaff, right? I mean, the outriders will get shot. If somebody knows what he's doing, he'll just shoot up the outriders, and then, I mean, the knights won't get into anything they want to get into.
I think the list would indeed be better if you throw out a damsel and you put 2 more units of human outriders in there.
Just no magic, huh?
It's no magic, just go.
I don't mind the damsel adept. I don't think you need both the paladins. I think you need one, like the BSB is nice to have, but like the paladin with audacity and lance, and then the duke. I feel like you got to do. They don't just King of just don't have enough points to really fit double duke without doing magic, like you guys just said. So for me, he's kind of getting like a cheap version of it with like double paladin, then fitting the damsel in.
Thing is, it's still just as scary. That every monster's just run away. I mean, it still zones just as well as Duke would. It still does kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So, whether you have might on it or not, I still think it does its job, but it's just cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Again, well, I mean, like what, like against like your against your Resilient 7, right? Like Arachnarox or like that Ido we saw earlier, or even like Resilient 6 with ward saves. If you had, I mean, there's no Vermin Swarm right in this tournament, but other lists that have like the Courtier model, I mean, you're gonna get a lot of attacks against it, but without that D3 to wound, it's like, without the extra attacks you get, it's just gonna be kind of hard to get the D3 to wound through. But hey, I don't know, maybe you might slip it through. Maybe the rules will go his way.
Okay, so
I must admit, I also tried to make a couple of Kingdom of Aquitaine lists, and I always struggled to make a very competitive one. Yeah.
It's definitely it's a tough army to play.
Yeah.
It's a tough army to play. I mean, I think I've seen somebody posted something on that KOE actually in the ETC was one of the most best performing lists.
What?
Yeah, I don't doubt it, and it's kind of ironic too because Turkey's arguably one of the best, like I'd say probably like top 2 or 3 guys. He plays King Aquitaine, Chad, and he's right now he's going to seminary school in Michigan, and like we're kind of where we are, and he didn't even get a chance to go this year at ETC, and he's like their King Aquitaine player generically, and he's really good. He's probably one of the best King Aquitaine players I know.
Now saying that, there is all the KOE lists are like the Vermin Sword. They all look the same. They all have
and that's what he was about. I think that's what he was about to comment on. He's like, when we were talking about the list, he's like, I feel like all King Aquitaine are kind of the same. But like the lists that do have that are very polarized. But if you get those like 4 out of 5 matchups that are in your favor, you'll do well. If you hit like if you hit Vermin Swarm twice, then like have fun tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, your list.
Oh, is this your list?
This is my list. So okay, I'm gonna now before I say anything, this list was specifically designed to troll people on the forums.
Okay.
The reason I did it is I have been doing really well in tournaments lately, so it's not that I wanted to challenge myself or anything like that, but it's like on ETC and most tournaments, nobody takes Forest Guard, nobody plays Bear Maidens mostly. So I wanted to really create a list of folk. I literally when I made this list, my first thing was core Forest Guard, and now what do we do? That was the design of it. Okay, I'll run through it quickly.
Yo, this list is BDE. I don't know. Do you allow swearing on your channel? I have no idea. Your podcast.
Go for it, man.
This is some big dick energy. This as Joe from Lazen says, this list is super spicy. 42 Forest Guard. Take it away. Go. Just go. I don't even need to see the list.
All right,
I'm happy that there's no Empire in the tournament with a mortar.
there's 2 Titan mortars though.
Oh yeah,
correct.
So we got a Blade Dancer Standard Bearer. So one thing, I don't know if you guys know SC. So one thing I always contempt is the item on him. I put Hero's Heart on him.
yeah.
But you always I always plan with the Spear of Distracting on the Blade Dancers. The thing is though, every time I put that, I find that if I feel I'm gonna lose the combat, I put the 3-up word save.
Yeah.
And then the Spear drops to Strength 4, and it's just not as reliable then. And if I know I'm gonna win the combat, then just Hero's Heart's so much better. It just does so much more damage. Anyways, So anyways, the Blade Dancer, 2 Druids, 2 Binding Scrolls, one's on Cosmology, then one's on Shamanism.
Mm-hmm.
Idea here is 2 Strength buffs.
That's good. Yeah.
Just spam them and just hope. Once again, this is all done for the Forest Guard. Forest Prince. Actually, my favorite piece in this list. Just nobody really puts him in a Giant Eagle, but I mean he's a 2-up, 4-up. He's Strength 5 attack, Strength 7.
Let's go. He's on the Eagle King. Hell yeah! With Titanic Might.
With Titanic Might. Well, Titanic Might's pretty standard for Sylvan Elves.
Yeah. Because you have the Sylvan Blades, yeah.
Because they got AP3. But once again, everybody takes the Wild Rider, Wild Huntsman build. But I just think just the fact you can't really chaff the guy, and he zones the monsters and everything so well. It's
how many hit points does an Eagle King have?
He's got 4 hit points.
4 hit points, yeah.
Yeah, he gets plus. People complain that he's the only elf character that gets +1 hit point on an Eagle.
Yeah,
so that's pretty great. So as far as and then you got 42 Forest Guards with the Rending Banner, Heath Hunters, Heath Riders, just for scoring, extra scoring.
Yeah.
13 Blade Dancers with the Flaming Standard, Eagle Chaff, Thick of B6, 9 Bear Maidens, another Wizard because it's a Conclave. So I'm actually channeling here.
Nice.
And just 8 Sentinels, just to, some poison shots. So go ahead, guys, break it down, kill me.
Because the Brown Maidens, they are on foot, right? That is shooting.
No. They're pretty much like the Dark Acolytes.
Oh, the Dark Acolytes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have a really good spell selection. I like their spell selection, the Briar Maidens.
Yeah, they got. I mean, which I think is the best spell in the game is Break the Spirit.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Break the Spirit is fantastic. It's the only spell I think that works in every phase: shooting, movement, combat.
What's nice is you can you have redundancy kind of on your list because you also have shamanism. I know it's only an add-up, but you could still, if you wanted to, like, you can kind of like force your opponent into like situations where it's like dispel either strength buff or dispel break the spirit or dispel. Like you can just chuck a bunch of small dice spells out, trickle cast things out, which is really nice. My only question is, we're gonna put both the druids. They both go in a Forest Guard unit.
No. The druid is going to the Sylvan Sentinels. And the shamanism, just because he's got scarification. So if I get into combat, I'm not too scared of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the whole combo with this list, now I'm excited for this because I've actually played this list pretty successfully in just warm up games. Now imagine this: the Forest Guard have weapon skill 6. It's a core unit, and if I can cast which if I want to force a +1 strength, I could probably get it through, regardless of, you can always get 1 buff through, right? And that's the whole point. I mean, with weapon skill 6 and ignore parry, there's, besides Chosen Knights, I think, and Sword Masters, they're hitting everything on 2s. Yeah. Everything. Like doors, everything, anything you can think of, they're hitting them on 2s.
Nice.
And the idea is here, run them in, line formation, and that's 32 attacks. Most likely strength 4 coming at you with AP 3. So they're
another nice element too is you have 2 binding scrolls. I mean, just looking at your character's loadouts and stuff. I love double binding scroll. Not that there's UD in this tournament, but like UD,
Oh,
some vampire counts, you can
yeah.
bind it just hedges that matchup. Or against like vampire counts at evocation, every turn you can stop like double snipe. Like it's really like for 2 turns anyways. That's really good.
Yeah, and the blade dancer surprisingly, most people don't know how effective they can be in combat.
Oh yeah, they can really rip units apart.
So if I played this list, my first target would be shoot off the blade dancers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me personally, yeah, 100%. Like that guy, and then your
Sylvan Sentinels, because they're also annoying.
Silver Sentinels are kind of annoying, but it's only 1 unit. More so that Eagle Force Prince Lord, because he's got movement 9. Like that's just so quick, and then like he can just kind of pick whatever he wants and then delete it. What's the save? A 2-up on the Eagle?
Yeah, he's a 2-up, 4-up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty tasty.
I think it's a nice list to play. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like how you said that's like a joke list. This list is spicy, dude. This is big damage. You're gonna do well. I'm kind of psyched to see how well you do.
And one thing I'll just add: the Brer Maidens did get no loves, and it's one of my favorite units. So
if they're similar to Dark Acolytes, then they're really good. With the 2 attacks, poison with strength 4.
No, okay. So the only difference is, Bart, they have strength 3.
No.
But their mounts have strength 4.
Okay.
And they get a 4-up ward, but they shoot 12 inches poison too, right? So
okay. Yeah.
Whenever I play them, I like you see any beast herds or any list, I put them 12 inches away from a giant, I shoot them, I let the giant charge me, I shoot them again with poison, and they attack and they have 4-up ward, no stomps and poison. So they delete giants and stuff like that. They really do.
Yeah. My opponents are also always surprised when I just charge Dark Acolytes into giants.
Yeah, right? Because you can't stomp them, they got a 4-up.
Yeah, and you have 2 attacks per model, strength 4 with poison, so it's like chop, chop, chop. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Next. Slavo.
Orcs and Goblins. With the Goblin King, Forest Goblin on a Scuttler Spider. He's not the general. I'm just looking for the general this time there. Okay. Goblin Witch Doctor, Forest Goblin, Pyromancy Wizard Adept, an Orc Chief, Battle Stand Bearer, Feral Orc with Tactics Guard, an Orc Shaman, Feral Orc, paired weapons with Shamanism as a Wizard Adept, and also Skull Fetish. And then we have an Orc Warrior General with Death Cheater and Troll Ill Flask. He's an Iron Orc, but he only has a great weapon, which I always find a weird thing for Iron Orc characters. Then we have...
they get Weapon Master, don't they?
Yeah, they get Weapon Master, but you still have to buy the individual weapons.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So currently, I believe... I don't know, I think he also gets a shield, so he can still choose between hand weapon, shield, and a great weapon, but bad weapons and a great weapon is just nearly always the best combination you want. Then Goblin Raiders, you have 10 Goblin Raiders in core, 24 at Bashers, then 44 Orcs, Feral Orcs.
44 Orcs.
Yeah, 7 Nashers, 7 Nasher Dashers, 21 Nashers, 19 Iron Orcs, and a Git Launcher. And that's the end of the list already. Oh.
That's the end of the list.
Are the points.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like, I feel like his list is just like missing a unit or two. Like, I don't know. He has a lot of characters. Is the big thing. He's got how many points in characters? 350. I have to get a calculator. I have no idea. 3.
I mean, I play against Slavov. He's probably my most common opponent I play. So I actually played this list plenty of times.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I will say is the 44 orcs with spears, the feral orcs are really hard to shift.
Yeah.
It's I know you can just avoid it and stuff, but he does have 3 units to avoid, 3 strong units to avoid.
Yeah.
So it's you got to fight something, right? You can't run around the whole game.
I don't know. To me, I feel like someone's just gonna pick up the points off the Iron Orcs, maybe the 21 Nasher unit, and like leave that big Super Spear unit alone. Maybe fight the 24 Feral Orcs eventually, or if they want to shoot them with something until there's like 10 left, 15 left, then run into them. That's not why I don't like this list. I feel like this is kind of like that Kingdom Equitane list, where like, and even that Vampire list earlier, where every like thing's super compact and there's like 6 units, and it's like he's playing chess, but he's got like 2 queens and 4 rooks instead of having like pawns and everything. It's just everything else.
Yeah, but I think if you manage to kick off the general of the list and just eliminate him, then it's going to be an easier matchup for sure. Like just go in the Iron Orcs and then try to kill the general, and because the discipline of the rest of the units is not that high, obviously, and he's relying on his steadfast probably, but
Yeah.
can't be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So, but can you guys imagine how fun to fight 42 Forest Guard versus 44 Orc Spears? That's a fun
if
fight.
you guys don't do that, if you guys should just match up round one. I mean, you guys probably play each other all the time, so you want to
Yeah,
do that.
you know, but there's something about seeing 44 Orcs that my 42 Spearmen just line up directly against. I can't resist it. I have
So
to
which
do
one wins? Have you ever done it before? Well,
No, it's yeah, no, I like I said, I play against this all the time. I don't know how it does in a competitive environment, but when we do play friendly games, it's definitely a fun list to play.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Easter, your buddy Alex, Andrew.
Yeah, I play Alex a lot. His lists are they're always kind of rotate around a couple different 3 or 4 different types of units. Sometimes they'll throw Centaurs blocks in there. Sometimes they'll throw Minotaur blocks in there. He kind of there's another player in our Michigan area. His name is Neil. He plays like for ETC Mexico a lot, and like sometimes he'll think tank with Neil on some lists, or he'll think tank with Lenny. And he comes up with new kind of builds and things. One of the things he wanted to try out recently was this evocation wizard, the soothsayer. So he's running that in this list. So his list features a beast chieftain on a chariot, with the potion of strength, basalt infusion, dust forge. So he's a 1-up rerolling character with the potion of strength. And low key, he will hit you with that. He always rolls a 4. He's killed so many of my elf characters, but like, oh, I just need a 4. Hits it, fail word save or fail an Asia save or fortitude, and then he's just D3 wounds and it's dead. I'm like, well, there goes my general. So he's really lucky with that potion of strength. Not gonna knock on wood for him, but
Do you get the Primal Fury reroll from the stats?
No, you don't get weapon. You don't get
yeah,
what's it called? Attack tribute effects. But he just still like beast modes those 4s for somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
The rest of his list is he has a soothsayer, which is a shamanism wizard master with shielding and trickster's cunning and on a raiding chariot. So it's really mobile. Obviously, you don't take any DTs when you charge to the forest because you're a beastman, and you can sit in the forest and get minus penalties if you shot at, etc. And he's a soothsayer on foot with the Sea of the Dark Forest. And core, he has 2 units of 15 ambushing wild herds, a unit of 10 mongrel as a bunker, a unit of 39 mongrels with the Band of the Wild Herd, just to break steadfast and be scoring. These are pretty good. And special, he's rocking 2 units of 10 centaurs with lances, 2 units of 5 gargoyle, 8 minotaurs with blackwing totem, and double razor tusk chariot.
Yeah, it's honestly for me it's kind of weird. It's a weird list.
Yeah.
So those centaurs can be scoring or not scoring depending on the game, and they also get the bonus in the razor tusk chariots, obviously for movement. He can use them as chaff kind of. They're like this list is kind of MMU, but it just comes at you like the other beast herds list kind of comes at you from like 3 or 4 different angles. And then in addition to that, having I think the shamanism and evocation, so you can kind of spam one really good spell through every single turn, maybe 2, and having double veil token generation every turn is going to be excellent for his list. I played against something kind of similar to this. It wasn't the exact same skeleton, and it was tough. Alex is a good opponent too. He's a smart guy. Like I said, he was the ACS for Beast Herds Forum for a little while, so he generally is like around the 1st to 3, like 1, 2, or 3 in most tournaments he tends for best Beast Herd player. I think last year at Buckeye Battles he got 2nd overall. I think this year he might have gotten 3rd. I don't know exactly, but he's familiar. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've met Alex. Alex is a cool guy, but my only thing is both the heroes are on chariots, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know they have good armor, but like if this list played Will's list, for example, I mean those bolt throwers are sniping with chariots.
Yeah. So I would want to put of chariots in core. Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree. It kind of depends, because if you just place that Sea of the Dark Forest wherever you want to put your chariot characters, they can just sit in the forest, and then if they're just outside of 24 inches, or even if they're inside 24 inches, they're still hitting stuff on 4s. And then he has 2 ambushing units that come onto the board turn 2, right, and can just throw 15 throwing weapons at 1 to 2 bolt throwers. I mean, those bolt throwers aren't going to last past a turn or two, unless you castle up with Dark Elves, which you could, but that Dark Elf list doesn't have any other shooting really besides the bolt throwers. I mean, I guess the Corsairs have hand bows, right? But that's not reliable shooting.
No. Okay. Yeah. I think it's a nice list, but I prefer the previous Beast
John
list.
John Oakes or the other Beast Herds list?
The one with the 3 units of gargoyles.
The John Oakes list, that I think his list is pretty spicy as well. But I don't know, we'll see how it does. I think Alex has got a good chance. I think everyone's gonna kind of underestimate those Centaur units, especially because I mean those things can do work.
They should have a lot of damage. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, this guy named his Grimgore? Yo, he named his Feral Orc Warlord Grimgore.
Okay, so I think this is Jerome's list. All right, so he's got a general. He's got a Omen of the Apocalypse. Is it Apocalypse? Yeah. Potion of Swiftness, 2-tax guard. He's got a Common Orc Chief with Basalt Infusion, Dustforge. He's got another Common Orc. He's got a Common Orc Shaman with Death Cheater and Skull Fetish. He's got 2 Goblin Chiefs for Chaff.
Yay.
Yeah. Feral Ad Bashers 35, which is nasty. I hate fighting Ad Bashers, man. They're basically baby Minotaurs. And Feral Orc Boar Riders, another Chaff unit. Iron Orcs 15. Goblin of Chariot, another Chaff piece. And then you got 10 Gnashers, 10 Gnashers, 24 Gnashers, 24 Gnashers, 32 Gnashers.
Yo, big dick energy. 5 units of Gnasher.
Yeah. Nice.
So this is actually my favorite list.
Yeah, this is just like a thought experiment gone wrong.
This is 90 Gnashers. This is almost like one of my buddies was trying to build an Orc and Goblin list. He was like think tanking with somebody else for one of the ETC teams. He's like, well, you can fit in 3 units of 32 Gnashers. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, check this out. And his list was like literally all Gnashers, and it was like some core and some characters. This list kind of mimics that, but I like that he has different size Gnashers. So we can use a 10-man units for Chaff if he wants, or we could throw him into a flank. He's got 3 units, of like 24 Gnashers. Slash 32. Yeah, it's a lot to go through.
It deals out a lot of damage. The only thing I would change is that I would change the Goblin Chiefs to Chiefs on Spiders, because then you can just first turn chaff up your opponent.
Yeah, and they're cheaper. I think weigh 30 points, right?
Yeah, and the damage output from your Wolf Chariots, you don't really need it with all these Gnashers, I think. Like you already have plenty of Strength 5 hits everywhere.
Yeah, the only thing I talked to, because I actually talked to Jerome when we were talking about his list a little bit, and so his Grimgore is actually going to go to he's going to go in the Boar Riders, I'm guessing, the Feral Boar Riders. Yeah. And one thing I told him is that's a scary frenzy test. That's a scary frenzy check, because that's that's 1,000 points going somewhere where it probably shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is the Feral Orc Riders, I don't really like them because it's agility 2. And they're glass cannons, so
yeah.
If they don't have too many good combats, they don't have too many good targets they can go into. So I would probably rather see just regular orc boar riders.
Yeah, or 2 units of 10 wolf riders.
Just to carry the general, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, if you take the orc, oh, I guess you're right. He's the generic boar riders. Yeah, I think I might take the generic boar riders instead. But could you get more for that? Could you get like 10 of them or 11 of them, and then like a muso? Does he have a muso in that unit? No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. But I mean, that's the only thing I would change personally. But I really like this. This is my favorite list.
Thematically, it's his favorite list. Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't know how I'd beat this list, to be 100% honest with you. Like, I'd have to like corner charge a lot of like Gnasher, like just because like Gnashers wreck elves. Like, I don't know, like so many Gnashers.
Yeah,
go away.
Yeah, no, this is that's a good list. I like that. I think it's gonna do. I think Jerome's a really good player too. So I think he's
Yeah,
gonna
it's gonna do well.
Yeah, it's gonna do well. Okay, Drew. He's playing Highborn Elves. He's got a
Sure, I'll explain this list straight up, and it's ironic that he has the same name as me. But
once again. I
this
will say,
list is Furion's list, and that's about all you have to know. He has no BSB. He's got 2 princes in the list, one on a dragon, one with the Spear of Blazing Dawn and a 4/4 up. He has a Master Divination with Book of Milady, so he's going to reroll a lot of his divination spells and get a lot of them off on 2 dice.
Yep.
He has 21 Line Guard, 3 Bolt Throwers, 5 Knights of Rima, the old Dragon Princes, and then a unit of 20 Spears, a unit of 27 Sea Guard with a Banner of Speed, and 5 Reavers. So everyone I've seen run this list can run. It runs fairly well depending on how good of a player you are, but by the same token, no one's Furion, right? You're not going to go out and you're not going to get, if it's a 5-round tournament, you're not going to go out and get 100 points, right? You're going to go out and get maybe like mid-60s. Because there's always a test during the tournament generically you'll just take and you'll fail. I tried to run this list a couple times. I mean, I feel like I'm a good player, but without a BSB, I've had such poor dice rolls where I would just put 3d6 on something, I would still fail in a critical combat and would just run away and get run down and die. So I'm all about redundancy and like failed safes and contingencies. So I don't like a list without a BSB. But if it's going to work for him, and you're going to run a list without a BSB in it for Highborn Elves, I guess this is the list to do it with.
yeah. The one thing I would probably change is I know the line guard gets stubborn from the general because he's in there.
No, you don't put the line guard in there. So the general that has a 4/4 has moonlight arrows and is a queen's companion. So it gives you a quick to fire. So that general will go inside 27 Sea Guard, and because the Sea Guard can shoot in 3 ranks, you can move up the first turn theoretically, and you can get 30-inch range with the first rank of guys. Not that you're going to do that every single time, but you also get 3 ranks firing without the movement penalty, which is like pseudo sisters of. I mean, obviously you don't have strength 4, and you're not flaming, but it's enough quality shooting, and then you're going to be in the midfield to project threat and shoot for your other martial discipline units. Because if you have martial discipline as a rule, which is like any elf unit, that Sea Guard unit can stay and shoot for it, so you can kind of get extra shots out of the unit that you wouldn't normally. So it's not bad.
If you wanted, you could just move out the prince after the first turn and move him into the line guard, right?
You could, but you don't do that with this list. It's
depending on
unless it's emergency. I mean, like unless it's like a real I need to go make this line guard unit stubborn against that grave guard fear causing unit or something.
Or the King of Vakantine, the blocks charging you. If it comes down, you can't chaff them.
Yeah,
you gotta.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is that you just have 3 fighting blocks and you have a dragon, but just 3 fighting blocks that are your main battle line, really. And if you look at some other lists, like for example the Nashers, they're just gonna completely wreck this.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Is like not everybody is Furion, right? I keep saying Furion because for the fans at home that don't know, I mean most people do, but he's like Poland's like second best or best player, and he's like quote unquote the self-proclaimed best Highborn Elf player in the world. So like a lot of people that play Highborn Elves kind of base some of like their list ideas and things off of what he does. Unfortunately, I don't know Drew G. I mean, if he's as good as Furion, maybe he'll get the same results. But I don't know how good his results will be this weekend. We'll see. But I mean, the list isn't bad. It's proven. It's just it kind of comes down to how well you can play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit more of a tougher list to play just because you have fewer elements that you can play around with, and it's very important where all of these elements actually are.
I think I would personally like to see a Prince and a Lion Chariot in this list, just for better zoning and more, just faster. I feel he's 500 points in a. I know you put him for the shooting in the Sea Guard, but I would say half your games you're gonna get where strength 3 just isn't enough. It's just not enough to do anything, and I just think that's the problem with characters and units. That are like 500-point characters. Half the game they just stand around do nothing.
Well, that's the benefit of having that Queen's companion marker. So then, if the unit ever moves, you get 21 shots, I guess, effectively without a penalty, or you can get more if you don't.
It's a good combo. But my opinion is I would rather see the Prince on a Lion Chariot. I just think it would do more in a game, per game.
I think it helps the list more to have it on the Lion Chariot, yeah.
I think fair enough. I mean, to me, the prince on the dragon is more comparable to a white lion chariot lord, or rhyme a royal huntsman chariot lord, because those are both kind of similar in effect. I feel the prince that's like on foot, like with Queen's Companion and the spear and the sliver, is just kind of like auto take at this point with Highborn Elves. But that's neither here or there. Sorry, we've been on this list for a while, so we can move on to the next one.
Okay, Ivan, who's got Ivan? Bart, why don't you get Ivan? You're the VC specialist.
Yes. So, Vampire Covenant. He has the Strigoi bloodline for his army. He has the Barrow King, and he doesn't actually take the standard setup that you normally see for a Barrow King. But he has Destiny's Call with a Knight's Crown and a Potion of Strength. Okay. Then we have a Necromancer, the Army General on Alchemy, which is a Wizard Master. And then we have a Vampire Courtier, Bestial Bulk, Bird Weapon, Shamanism, Strigoi, with the Hypnotic Pendant. For core, we have mostly direwolves. And then we have a big unit of ghouls, and in special we have Barrow Guards and some Ghasts and some Winged Reapers for the swift death. Well, that's a very special Strigoi list with Barrow Guard.
What do you think about? Because people don't know the Hypnotic Pendant. It gives the gas.
Yeah, parry. Yeah.
So that
gives gas parry. It's gross.
Yeah, that I played against gas. Gas with that vampire are impossible to shift unless you got a flaming banner. You will not move that unit.
Or
yeah, because they have a 5+ regen, right?
5+ regen, and they're poison on 5 up.
Yeah.
So I mean, monsters, most things, and if he's running alchemy, then he can get the +1 AP if he needs it for AP2.
Yeah, and you get the rerolls to hit if you do inflict a wound.
Yeah, I think in the second round, basically you can't grind with the gas. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna blow through it somehow, then you're gonna lose that fight.
Yeah.
For Wing Reapers, I think Wing Reapers are nasty. I play Undying Dynasties too, and I don't build a list without Reapers in them. It's such a good unit.
Yeah, I started playing them for my vampire counts. But the only issue I'm facing is that 4 Winged Reapers, they take up a lot of board space.
They do.
And they only have movement 6, so they're not as flexible as I would want them to be.
Well, that's the difference between, I guess, the Undying Dynasty. They're autonomous in UD, so they don't. They just fly around.
Yeah. Well, you can still march them with 12 inches. Is still. I don't know. I'm still figuring out whether I would actually want 2 units of 2 Winged Reapers instead of 1 unit of 4. Just because it's more mobile.
Yeah, I guess it's list dependent too. The only problem is if I find 2 Winged Reapers, there's some things like even a chariot can blow by him. 1 chariot.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And that's a chariot for a goblin chariot can go through him, right? So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you think of the list?
I think Ivan's list is quite well put together.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like it, yeah. Because he still has this big block of Barrow Guards. He can even actually give a +1 to hit to the casts from the Black Standard of Sagabos.
Yeah.
Unlike the other vampire lists that had like just all blocks, I like this list because it has in core it has those units of 8 dire wolves in core for chaff, which is really nice.
Yeah. The only sad thing is that he didn't give a champion to the dire wolf, so you cannot challenge a character out and just be sure that you stick around for a round.
Yeah, and he does channel 3 too with that Necromancer. So even though it's one wizard, it's still going to be a good magic base.
Is the necromantic staff one gives you an additional channel?
It gives you I think a bounce spell if they're raising. They could raise as a bounce spell, and it gives you and +1 channel. So.
Oh, wow, that's really good. So does he have 1, 2? Wait, does he have 4 channels then? 1, 2, 3, 4?
No, because the apprentice doesn't channel, right? But
oh, my bad. I didn't realize. I thought it was an add up. You're right.
But the one thing that the good thing about Strigoi is he's got shamanism, the awaken the beast spell.
Yeah.
and anything he casts Awaken the Beast on just becomes
Scary.
yeah, very scary. So if you're gonna get into combat that needs units, and you're gonna save all your dice for that spell, that means he's he can get +2 armor on his barrel guard from the alchemy, so they can be 2 up. There's a lot of just nasty close combat spells he's got that you won't be able to stop.
An apprentice only lets you take the generic first spell, right?
Yeah.
So and that's the armor spell and alchemy. I thought that was lash. That's lash, isn't it?
Yeah,
so he's not going to be able to. Yeah, so apprentice won't be able to do that.
The apprentice is the shamanism guy.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. No, we're good. I'm like mixing them up. We're good.
And you know what?
Ignore me.
I like that he took the hand weapon shield on the barrel guard, because I know a lot of people think halberds, but I think especially with the combo he's got on the barrel king for stubborn. I mean, once again, you're not. It's pretty much they catch and anything else flanks, right?
Yeah.
And even the gas. So really, I mean, those 2 units, you're not going through them. Not much is going through them. Okay. I think we're done, guys.
I still have one list left, I believe, the High Elf list. That's Andrew.
Yeah, you can go through my list and trash it. That's fine.
So do you also have? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not in here.
Oh, then I only have it in my screen for some reason.
I have it in mine.
Do you?
Yeah. All right, so my list has a High Prince with the similar loadout with the spear and the 4-up and the Queen's Companion. I have a commander that's on foot with a binding scroll, a shield, and a longbow. So all he has is a 5-up and a longbow and a binding scroll. I have a mage on foot that's naked, but besides the book of Arcane Mastery on Pyromancy. I forgot to mention the BSB is a master of the Carrying Tower, so it's also a caster. Yeah. And then lastly, I have a second prince with a great weapon, heavy armor, blah blah blah. So he's a 2-up, 4-up because he has a Death Cheater, and he's on a Royal Huntsman chariot. For the rest of my list, has 2 blocks of spears, 124, 120, a unit of 23 Sea Guard, which obviously the Queen's Companion character is going to go into. I have 24 Flameborns with a Rending Banner, 2 Giant Eagles, a Reaver Chariot with a Champion upgrade, and 2 Sloops.
Okay, so I think this list is pure shit.
Good, fair enough. Good.
I was just thinking why you don't have the Book of Maladis on anything.
Because it's really expensive, and I have an Adept and a BSB as well, so Master of Carrying Tower. Yeah. The problem is the character loadout is like at 1,800 points, right? So I can't fit a Mage Master in. I mean, I could fit a Mage Master in, but then I couldn't take the Master Mage, but then I couldn't take a Master of Carrying Tower on the BSB. And I want access to that because I mean that's like it's a cheaper version of a Mage, and it's a BSB in one model, so you kind of save points there. The issue with Highborn also, right, like when I play the list and I'm playing them, is I can't. It's always like one piece away in the character slot of trying to do something. So like I'm right at the character allotment because I have the auto take spear guy, right, that makes the Sea Guard viable shooting, and then I have the High Prince White Lion Chariot. So I mean I could cut that guy out and get like 500 points and get out a Master Mage and blah blah blah. But then I miss that extra threat, and I can't get a big enough unit of like White Lions or something else to go charge, or even like Ryman. I tried Ryman Knights and they weren't my cup of tea in a couple tournaments. But
do you think that this High Prince really has to be a High Prince, or do you think you could get away with a commander on a Lion Chariot?
I've tried a commander and Lion Chariots in the past. 3 attacks isn't enough because generically you'll go into a lot of things that sometimes aren't monsters, right? And then they'll have like weapon skill 6 or 5, and you really want to be able to guarantee that you're hitting on 3s because I don't get the lightning reflex bonus with the great weapon, so you're just hitting on whatever you're hitting on. Yeah. And a lot of people like the courtiers. That's actually mainly why I took it, because I was like, I wanted an answer to courtiers. I wanted answers to like plague pendulums, things I could like pick 1 or 2 wounds on throughout a game maybe, but then like I can't finish off in combat anyhow. So that's why I took kind of him to kind of zone those big kind of war platformy divine altar type of models where you can go in and. The sloops over the I guess repeater bolt throwers is kind of a preference. a choice.
Yeah.
I've had too many poor games of dice rolling with repeater bolt throwers, and
Yeah.
sloops are more mobile, so I can like
Yeah.
charge them in like late game if I need to get a flank or something. I mean, it gives a list effectively 4 chariots. So the
Yeah,
only
I
thing I
think,
wish I could have done was I wish either could fit a second binding scroll in, and or that I could put that second mage, the pyromancy mage, on a chariot. But I just don't have any
Yeah.
points. Like I can either cut the binding scroll and put the mage on a chariot with a 3-up and the 3-up against flaming attacks, and the book of arcane whatever. But it's kind of like you just run out. The list just runs out of points.
Yeah.
I'm curious why you took blessed inscriptions on your hero though. Because
Oh, on the high prince.
yeah, it seems like if you're since he's a wild he's on the line chariot. He if you're gonna run to monsters, most of it's like regeneration, right? So
It depends. I mean, that's the thing is he's not always going to go up against monsters. It's just there as a threat against monsters. So
no, I'm just saying I'm just in my opinion, if that was, I know it's not the point, but maybe just like a cleansing light, just have a flaming attack and just blow right through monsters.
I think blessed inscriptions is more generally useful.
It's generally more useful, but I'm just thinking points wise, right? Because
yeah.
correct. Yeah. No, that's a fair point. There's also a build where I took the ring of what's it called? The ring of
I see that build a
throne.
lot. Yeah, where you take away. That's really good too.
And then like ghostly guard, you can kind of like play around. That was kind of cool. That costs more points too. So
Okay,
Yeah.
I think this list is shit. And it's gonna get last place. That's
fair cop. I mean, honestly, I very well might. I mean, it very well might.
Well, I think in general with the other lists that we looked at, you might have a chance at some of the lists. Well, quite a good chance at some of the lists. But there's also going to be a couple of lists that are going to be tough to shift for you.
okay. So Andrew, since you're in the tournament, how do you think? Well, first, how do you think you'll fare? Well, what's your expectation, anyways?
Well, I'm probably not gonna win the tournament since I'm probably not gonna have a fully painted army since I'm the world's slowest painter and procrastinator. I feel that I will get best. How about this? I'll get best highborn elf general because there's only 2 of us. Does that count? Is that fair?
That's fair. Okay, so just to wrap it up, what do you guys think? Top 3 lists. I mean, what do you guys think top 3 players or list will be?
Since I don't know the players, I'm just gonna go on like my 3 favorite lists, I guess, or like 2 favorite lists and like a dark horse list. So my one favorite list is that Squig Herd list. That's just awesome. Like that's this big dick energy. Like let's go.
Yeah.
I also like the Beast Herd list with the super double 8 block Minotaurs, cancel all your shooting. John Oakes is running.
Yeah.
That's really good too.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna give you a third list too. I like Sam Howard's Vampire Bloodline list. That's really gross as well.
Yeah.
And then for like a dark horse, your list for Sylvan Elves, that's another big dick energy list. Which like you're saying it's funsy, but like low key, it's actually like
low key kind of
point denial. Yeah, low key, like you're only gonna take a 6 or a 7. That's the most I'm gonna lose by. Haha, Sylvan Elves. Like, and you're like, that doesn't normally work well with Sylvan Elves. So it's kind of cool that you did that.
Yeah, I agree on every single point.
You agree on the 3 list?
Yeah, I was just really thinking the same. So yeah.
Okay, I think you're right about John Oakes. I think John Oakes' list will do well. I think the Squigs one will do well, so we're agreed there. I think Will do well too. I think that surprising the Dark Elf list will do well. And Dark Horse, I'll put. No, I won't put a Dark Horse. Okay.
You choose your brother for the Dark Horse.
Man, if you got a brother, man, you know that siblings, he's gonna get last place.
Fair enough.
No, man, it's gonna be fun. I know a lot of the players that are coming are good players, so maybe 1 or 2 players, maybe a little inexperienced, but besides that, it's gonna be pretty competitive environment. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up. Unless you guys have any final thoughts about anything.
Everyone have a lot of fun at the tournament.
Yeah, maybe Bart, next time you'll come down to Canada.
Oh, I just want to shout out that if you guys
Cool. Well, I was thinking of coming out. I wanted to. What was the big one last one? Corner Hammer or something?
Buckeye Battles or Corner Hammer? Yeah.
Buckeye Battles. I was thinking of coming about the Buckeye Battles, but just work schedule didn't work out. But yeah, that's. I'm looking forward to coming out to. When is it? Do you know when Michigan is? Michigan.
Oh,
GT?
sorry, Michigan GT. It's October, I believe. Let me look. It's the second week of October, so it'd be the 12th, 13th. I don't want to put out false information. Get Alex mad at me. So the person that runs it is actually Alex, and then sometimes I'll ring her depending on how many guys he needs or doesn't need. So, I'm literally googling it right now. I don't want to. It is October 11th to the 13th, and it's held at the Causeway Bay Convention Center in Lansing. So you can stay at the hotel there, or you can stay somewhere else in Lansing. Hotel itself, I'll be honest, is not the greatest, but it does have multiple events. So I mean, there'll be Ninth Age there. There'll be 40K there. There'll be other games and things like that, like Age of Sigmar and Bolt Action and whatnot. And they'll have some vendors there too. So
okay. And Bart, you wanna quickly plug your channel one more time, just to remind everybody?
Yeah, sure. So if you are ever on YouTube, then please visit my channel. It's a channel with a lot of battle reports, with some army list discussions, some tactical moment discussions. It's called Ayakir Soul Reaver. And well, just look me up. It's gonna be great.
And I do vouch for him. It is a great channel. Bart I asked Bart, because you guys don't know. I just texted Bart maybe a week ago, and I said, "Hey, listen, man, I like your videos. You wanna come on and do a review?" And he's like, "Yeah, for sure, man." But It's pretty cool. We were talking about it. It's pretty cool how somebody from Netherlands, right?
Yeah.
Like you can just communicate, right? That you send a text, right? And then you're here, right? So that's pretty cool. And with Andrew, I literally texted him 20 minutes ago. We had a guy up, and I'm like, "Yo." He's like, "What?" Right? And then I just got him on here, and I don't know, it worked out great. I think it went well.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, guys. So Bart, special thanks for you coming on, special guest.
No worries.
Andrew, thanks for just sliding in late.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great. This is fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Okay, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. I look forward to seeing everybody at Carnage, Wild Hunt in Oshawa.